Right now, most of the market's attention is focused on the drama between Musk and Trump. With all the headlines around that, few have noticed Microsoft. At this crucial moment, Microsoft's stock just broke out, hitting an all-time high. That makes things very interesting. Why has Microsoft put ahead and stood out from the Magnificent Seven, breaking away from the pack and being the first to reach a new all-time high? What's driven this breakout? How did it break through a key resistance level that held for over a year? This breakout is truly significant. Earlier, Microsoft was under heavy pressure. If you look at the chart, you can really feel it. Previously, in this area, the stock mostly moved sideways. It was consolidating near the highs. This signaled to the market that moving higher would be tough. A lot of profits were taken off the table up here. And in this zone, there was heavy trading volume. For over a year, the price kept consolidating in this area. So moving up was met with resistance. That's why a breakout was tough. Breaking out brought big pressure, especially now the market is still uncertain. Why that? Because it's a key week. NFP data is coming. The big jobs report isn't out yet. We're still waiting. And judging by the ADP jobs data, the NFP may not be great either. Why? Because the ADP report is often a preview for the non-farm payrolls. That's possible. So, in this uncertain environment and with the ongoing tariff roller coaster, nothing is settled yet. Only some positive US China dialogue has helped boost the sentiment. So, right now, there are still more headwinds than positive drivers. But at this crucial moment, Microsoft managed to break out, and this breakout is quite significant because it broke through a key resistance level that held for over a year. Now that this level's been cleared, there's plenty of room for the stock to move higher. The upward trend has been unlocked. So, what gives Microsoft the strength to pull off such a decisive breakout right now? Let's take a look at the intraday chart. On the intraday chart, you can see the move clearly. After the opening bell, there was some pullback, but after that dip, it rebounded and kept rallying. After that push, it broke through to new all-time highs. It claimed a new peak, unlike the Nasdaq or S&P, which pulled back sharply. Microsoft stayed strong after the breakout. It held firmly above this key level, showing just how solid its position is right now. This price action proves its current momentum. So, what's behind Microsoft's strong performance at this key level? How did it manage to break through and hold above major resistance? It's all about what's fueling the market's optimism. Stronger expectations drive a positive cycle, and when those expectations are met, the momentum just builds. It turns into a virtuous cycle. Why is that? For any public company, the most direct driver of stock price is always earnings. It comes down to performance. Microsoft's record highs are fundamentally supported by results. Its earnings have powered this rally, and the market widely believes that Microsoft is set to become a true leader in AI. Not only that, but is also best positioned to monetize its technology. Microsoft has what it takes to be the first to turn AI into real profits. In other words, to make AI truly profitable to generate actual returns. This helps ease investors' concerns about pouring billions into AI without clear payback. Now there's confidence in the returns, so the key proof backing up this view is Microsoft's latest financial results. According to Microsoft earnings, both cloud computing and AI services have shown strong growth and a robust demand. The market sees this as a solid uptrend. This has really reinforced investors' confidence. So right now, in such a volatile market environment, Microsoft stands out as a rare island of stability. Why is that? Largely because it's not affected by tariffs. Right now, tariffs are the biggest uncertainty. Trade wars are the main risk, but Microsoft is mostly immune to those issues. It's also less affected by economic uncertainty because its business is digital. It's all about digital services. On top of that, Microsoft is continuing large scale layoffs, but the layoffs are not because of declining profits or any major crisis. It's because they are focused on cost control, streamlining less profitable units. That's a positive sign for the market. Especially with this latest rally, the recent surge has reversed its previous downtrend. It's broken through key resistance levels and opened up a new upside for Microsoft. Although Microsoft has gone the longest without hitting a new high among the big seven tech stocks, it's never falling out of favor. It hasn't been forgotten by the market. According to the Bank of America data, Microsoft is actually the most widely held stock among long-only funds. That means most institutional investors hold a significant position in Microsoft. In fact, 91% of funds have Microsoft in their portfolios. so it's a major institutional favorite. Almost all of them own it. In addition, analyst tracking data shows over 90% of analysts currently recommend buying in Microsoft. In fact, almost no one gives it a sell rating. That shows just how optimism the market is. You can see the sentiment around Microsoft is very bullish. Optimism is running high. This kind of consensus, when everyone's so positive, can sometimes be seen as a warning sign for a reversal. When the market is this unified, it can signal a turning point. It can be risky, but Wall Street analysts still believe Microsoft's rally won't end anytime soon. The average price target suggests double-digit gains are still possible over the next 12 months. So right now, the bullish consensus is very clear. That's the prevailing view in the market. So after this kind of consensus, what kind of momentum does it create? A trend always needs collective momentum. If every factor looks positive, they combine to form strong momentum. With that momentum, trends develop. And with collective momentum pushing it, that's how a real trend is formed. Right now, after Microsoft broke out to new highs, the big question is can it keep going higher? After this breakout, is it due for pullback? No one can say for sure, especially when, as we said, when the market gets excessively optimistic and unified in its view, it's often a sign of a peak. If you look at history, when the market gets too euphoric and optimistic, that's usually a warning. When everyone's on one side, it rarely lasts. But how do we judge if Microsoft is at that point? Will it really reverse here? There's no need to worry too much. At this point, with Microsoft hitting new highs and breakout sends a very strong signal, and this kind of breakout often attracts follow-on buying. Momentum players usually pile in after breakouts. And during this whole move, we can see something interesting. Why didn't trading volume spike during Microsoft rally? That's actually a healthy sign. It shows a good price volume relationship. Why is that? Because most of Microsoft shares are held by major institutional investors. Most of the big money is from institutions. At this stage, these institutions are holding on to their shares. They don't want to sell, so during this uptrend, we haven't seen a surge in volume. If you saw a big spike in volume at the highs, that would actually be a warning sign. But right now, since there's no high volume spike, there's nothing to worry about. If you did see a big volume at the highs, that would be a negative sign. So going forward, we don't actually need to see huge volume increases. What's important is keep an eye on one thing. As long as Microsoft doesn't suddenly show volume that's double or triple recent levels, there's no need for concern. If you don't see that, you can stay bullish. From a technical perspective, this is perfectly logical. Why? Because during this uptrend, there hasn't been a big volume surge, so not much profit taking happened along the way. If you ever do see a big spike in volume, that means some big holders are starting to sell. That's the only time to be cautious because institutional selling moves the market. If they sell, the volume will jump, but as long as that doesn't happen, there's no big risk. Remember, institutions control the largest position, so when they sell, the volume shows it. Any institutional sellings will be obvious in the volume. So if you see heavy selling at the highs, that's a warning sign. If not, don't worry. As long as there's no big spike in volume, as long as trading stays steady, we can keep a bullish outlook. Microsoft's uptrend can continue. That's the market consensus. But if you suddenly see a big spike in volume, don't chase it. If you see a large volume bar appealing at the key level, especially at the breakout and the volume surges, be extra cautious at that point. If the breakout happens without huge volume, just a moderate uptick, that's a healthy price volume setup. But if you start to see a significant increase in volume at this stage, that means some investors are no longer optimistic at this level and are starting to sell. So what should you do? Just pay close attention to the volume going forward. If volume spikes don't follow the crowd after this breakout, the market will naturally have more optimistic expectations for Microsoft. And the market's previous expectations have already been confirmed by the price action. This creates a positive feedback loop. The prevailing view is that Microsoft is truly capable of becoming a leader in AI, and the stock price confirmed that strength. So this belief is just reinforced by the market, and that confidence continues to build. Especially with this powerful AI wave, the market narrative is clearly in Microsoft's favor. Everyone's buying into the AI story. This environment will only help push Microsoft even higher. They just keep moving up. That's why right now Microsoft is outperforming its peers and is the first of the big seven tech stocks to hit new highs. This success only reinforces the market's positive outlook, and the cycle of optimism just keeps building. So as long as we don't see a surge in volume at the top, as long as there isn't heavy selling, the upward trend should continue. If you're a cautious investor and see Microsoft doing well, but you're worried about buying at the top, here's what you can do. Wait for pullback. It's okay to be patient. Microsoft actually showed some topping signals recently. From a technical perspective, at this level, there's a clear topping pattern in the last three candle formation. It's a typical sign of a short-term peak. In chain theory, this is a classic top reversal on the daily chart, and the MACD here also shows divergence. So at this point, from a technical view, there's room for pullback, a bit of a correction, but even so, this doesn't mean a big drop. There's just a need for some adjustment. It's normal after such a rally. The correction probably won't be large, but the need for pullback is there. Still, the market remained very strong and pushed the price even higher. That strength overcome the reversal pattern. So Microsoft proved its resilience. It broke through the resistance. That's a clear sign of strength in the stock. So if you're a cautious investor who's worried about buying at the top, it's fine to wait for pullback. If you think it's going up too fast and you feel fear correction, just wait. Wait for a dip before getting in. If there's a pullback, the first support level is here. The strongest support is in this range. All these areas are good support zones. If there's a bigger correction, especially if there's heavy volume at the top and some funds choose to take profits, that can put pressure on the price, causing a potential pullback. But when it dips, those are good entry opportunities. When you see these corrections, it's usually a great time to buy in. So from this, you can see Microsoft's stock is very resilient. As long as we don't see extremely high volumes at the top, the trend remains positive and you can stay optimistic. That's the main takeaway. This is a simple analysis of Microsoft's outlook going forward. The uptrend still looks likely to continue. How high can it go? Just watch the trading volume. If volume suddenly surges, there may be a short-term correction. A pullback is possible, but after that, you will still get more buying opportunities. So looking ahead, Microsoft remains a high-quality target. That wraps up this simple analysis of Microsoft. If you have other opinions or questions, feel free to leave a comment and join the discussion. I welcome everyone's thoughts.